Hey, g'day again. Alright, got another project happening. This, it doesn't belong to me, this belongs to a friend of mine. Basically, where do I start? Okay, basically we had a split. It was only a small split. I'll get the sander out of the way. It was a small split when I brought it home. And I had it covered with a tarp. The tarp all tore off, and yeah, the next time I looked at it, this small split, which started here, was about that long, had gone almost full length of this plate. And that sort of put a big delay on it too, because I wasn't even certain of how I was going to fix it. Eventually I got the router out and routed the split into a V, which wasn't as neat as I would have liked it to be anyway, either. But anyway, well, the split wasn't completely straight either. That was part of the issue. But I ended up, just putting a piece of pine quad in it, glued it in with epoxy resin, sanded it down, put a bit of car putty over the top, and as you can see, that's the white bit of car putty. And over here it had a lot of rot, and I'd given another piece of King Billy. This is a King Billy, Tasmanian King Billy pine. And I was given two pieces, and I had to use, one piece wasn't long enough, and then it come to about there. I put a second piece in, and it wasn't even wide enough, and down here. Anyway, that's all been glued in with epoxy. There was also splits in the keel. I filled them with epoxy. Because there was gaps in there too, that the epoxy would just run straight through. So I ended up sanding and cutting, left out a little bit of King Billy until I had a handful of sawdust, and I mixed the sawdust with some epoxy and used that as a putty to putty it in with. And I'm confident about that. That's epoxy bonds really well to timber. And you don't have to worry about it breaking. The epoxy is way stronger than what the timber is that it's repairing. So again, I've gone over that with a bit of car putty just to finish it off. And it'll be a whole lot easier if it was just a painted boat, because I could just go over the whole boat then, like with the painted areas, you don't even have to sand it all off. You take the shine off it, remove anything that's flaking. Very damaged paint over it, not a problem. But down the sides here, where it's lacquered, this is a totally different matter. You've got to get all the lacquer off, get it back to the timber, and then you start getting issues where now I'm looking for it. Can't actually see it. Oh, yeah, you can pick it up here. We've got the rivets showing. If you know anything about boats, these are a pin which have got a clip on the inside, and what really should happen here is they should be punched in below the surface again and puttied. But you can't do this job on your own. You need two hands. You've got to hold a punch to punch it. And then you need somebody on the back with the right tool to hold the clip, so that when you punch it in, the clip stays on the inside, and then you've got to burr it over. Again, it's a two-person job, and I don't have anybody here that can assist me in doing that. There's a couple that are sort of slightly raised, and again, there isn't really anything I can do about it. You can't go grinding the heads off them. You've got to leave them that way. And then you've got, it's never going to look new anyway. You've got, stains around all the pins. You can't rub it out. There isn't really anything you can do about it. Or anything. Actually, I'm actually contemplating getting a fine brush, and but you'd have to darken it or something, like hiding, so it's not the actual copper showing. But still contemplating what I'm actually going to do about that. Unfortunately, with this King Billy pine, it's got a very fine grain and it's all one colour. If this was a regular pine or a blackwood, that's another very nice Tasmanian timber. It's got a dark and light grain. So we get places like that. You can get a bit of dark stain and an artist brush, and you can hide it. You can brush a line over it and make it look like the grain of the timber. You can completely hide screws and rivets when you've got a dark and light grain. But there isn't really anything I can think of that's going to hide them. So I'm contemplating actually just dabbing a little bit of something, even a bit of brown paint or something, just so the actual rivets are not showing or go on it. I mean, these ones here were deep. They were deeper. I put a bit of wood putty in them, which sort of, this is another issue with wood putty. You rarely ever match the timber. You buy the right putty for the timber, it still doesn't match it. It's still going to show everywhere you put the putty. So, still contemplating the best way to go about it. However, having said that, it sort of gives the boat a bit of character. Here's the last bit of lacquer that I haven't sanded off yet. And you can see, every rivet hole has a dark stain around it. I kind of sort of like it actually. It gives it character, gives it age, so it might actually turn out to look decent. So I'm sort of hoping the owner's going to think that way. But, we've also got this copper plate. Still deciding whether I try and take the tarnish off with a chemical or just polish it off. I do want to get it off. That should have been lacquered as well, and it wouldn't be this tarnished. So I can get that back to a copper colour and lacquer over that, and hopefully it'll stay its copper colour. I don't know whether that's original anyway. You can contemplate taking it off, but you don't know what's underneath it either, so Yeah, could be all damaged under there. Could have been put on there to prevent damage, but it also could have been put on there to hide damage. Yeah. Said I don't know if that was original from the boat manufacturer or not. The other thing we've got, which I only just noticed, is we've got a break in the gunnel. And again, being lacquered, like, you know, I can clean in there, I can fill it with epoxy, pull it in, clamp it, and it'll stay permanent, not a problem. But how do you hide this break, you know? It's going to be very difficult to hide the break. You know, it's even though it's going to be fixed, the break may well be always visible. So, yeah, pretty much the same on the other side. You see something, oh, probably just the light, but the stains around the pins seem to be more visible on this side. Yeah, the next step too is I've got to sand all the way along here. Still going to have to be done by hand. And then, you know, because it's opened up in several places, you can actually see it here. Looking, I can see it. The camera doesn't seem to be picking it up. I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah. You can see where it's opened up. See, it's been previously filled. It's opened up. This may well, I may well have actually caused this. Because I turned it upside down. I took it off the trailer and I turned it upside down. And I had it supported at the front and the rear. I'm actually wondering whether being supported at the front of the rear, and it was, you know, in the summertime, it's dried out, and whether that's actually caused it to open up. So, I don't know. But yeah, what I was getting to is now I've got to clean all these along here, and I'm going to have to run epoxy resin in all of the joints just to be certain that it's sealed. Got to dig out someone else's putty. So yeah, this boat has turned into quite a big job. Turn the compressor off. That's a bit of a worry too. I think that's on its last legs. I use that every day. If that compressor fails, I've got problems. So yeah, can't afford a new one. Yeah, as I said, you start putting all this work into it, and you wonder at the value of the boat, you know, whether it's actually worth all the time, you know, that's going into it. You know, like if you put a monetary value on your time, not I've put a lot of time into this. Had the issue with it outside, and every time I made, you know, planned a day to work on it, to be raining, or something else that happened that I'd have to attend to, or the car would break down, or there's always seemed to be something that would happen when I'm planning to work on it. So yeah, I mean at this point, think all up, I'm probably 2 days, 2 full days all up. That's as much as I've put into it, and I've had it there for 3 months or something. Yeah. And yeah, I said I got it in the shed now, but I couldn't get it in the shed because I've got 2 project cars that don't have windows in them. One in the garage and one here in the shed, and the bug in the shed here. And you know, been waiting. The bug is actually ready for windows to be put in it, but I haven't been able to afford to get the rubbers, and yeah, they're actually on their way now. But I rearranged my garage so that I could throw a bit of stuff out and made it so I could get both cars in the garage. So I finally got it in the shed here, and now I can work on it overnight. Yeah, put in an hour or 2 each night. But yeah, even over an evening, you're restricted. Well, yeah, you're restricted by time. Yeah, I normally get out here at around 7 or so, I have to tend to things in the house, tend to the kids and whatever, and you get out here and then you can, by 10 o'clock you got to stay making noise. So if you're using power tools, well, your time runs out at 10 o'clock. And the time ran out tonight, and then I had to cut wood tomorrow, so I had to stop anyway, get me chainsaw maintenance and all my chains sharpened and get prepared for tomorrow. Anyway, put in a long ramble about nothing in particular again, so yeah. Anyway, if there are any suggestions on what I do about hiding these pins and whatever, I'd appreciate it. And like the video if you like it. It's always helpful. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. Bye.